Only thing I care about is if Toby Peterson's still in. Yeah, that's one of the big things. It's one of the big deciding factors. Where is Toby Peterson? How good is he? Alright, so players do still have an overall rating. But yet they have the overall star potential, too. And a potential. What sense does that make? Overall potential, but that's just weird. That's just weird. It was 82 Hiller and Dan Ellis. Lucas Spiza is the top-rated... Lucas Spiza is the top-rated Ducks defenseman. That is horrific. Hello, Cam Fowler, with your 4.5. That's basically that'd basically be the equivalent of a medium elite at this point. 5-star. Actually, then again, like 5 green star would have been franchised. Fowler has a good rating, is all you have to know. Perry and Getzlaff leading the way. Bobby Ryan hadn't been dealt yet. Temu's still in the game at 42 years old. Absolute legend. Yeah, this Ducks team had some bright spots, but for every young face, like a Devontae Smith-Pelly on an NHL roster for the first time, you have your Jason Blakes and Saku Koivus that kind of balance it out in terms of like, just, this isn't working. This isn't working. Bergeron still has the 2006 picture that still wouldn't be changed, I think, until 15. Tyler Seguin. Someone said earlier, try to mispronounce every name. I mean, so we'd obviously have Pat Rice Bergeron. How the hell would you mispronounce Nathan Horton? Nathan Horton? Close enough. I mean, David Krejci, you don't even have to try to mess up. You could just mess it up. Hello, Brad Marchand, with your 4-star potential. Savvy's career was over at this point, unfortunately. You know, there is definitely a difference, too, in some of the ratings. Like last year, Sean Thornton, or in the years prior, Sean Thornton would have been like a 79-80. So I think they, you know, they tried to space it out a little bit more. Good old Johnny Boychuk, Adam McQuaid, and Mike Motto. Thomas with that mustache. Tuukka Rask. And Marty Turco in Boston. Because it's Marty Turco. Never forget he was a Bruin. Ryan Miller and Jonas Enroth finally made an NHL roster. At the time, they kind of screwed him on potential, but with hindsight, they were absolutely correct. So, you know, hello, so the Koskinen. Oh yeah, Dono, we've talked about the Mikko Koskinen signing, re-signing for that matter, and you know, I had the word trade in mind because of Tyler Myers, and in fact, Robin Regeer is a Sabre. I keep saying, like, I want to make more videos about the subject, but you know, about, like, oh, if something happens in hockey, I want to make, like, a video about it. What is there to even say? It's just that Edmonton sucks. The end. That's it. In fairness, the 13 ratings weren't as spread out as they were. So maybe they changed it, but they definitely didn't implement it as much as they did in this game. Like, here's the thing. Hello, John Scott. Like, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to say Mikko Koskinen's a bad goalie, right? But he has a .911 save percentage in 20-some-odd games this season. You don't hand that $4.5 million. You don't need to. You cannot tell me that they could not have signed him for less than that. There's no way. Now, I get it. If his agent was like, well, Cam Ward got 3, then sure. Which means Henrik Lundqvist should still be getting paid $20 million a season. But that is a drastic overpayment. Like, it's not even close. That is a brutal overpayment. Mikhail Backlund's on the roster for the first time, by the way. Roman Horak, Tim Jackman. They got some tough guys, man. They got some tough guys. But regardless of how bad the Oilers team is, like, yeah, sure, if you put Koskinen in front of a better team, maybe he'll be better. But based off of the season he's had, he went from being a below-average KHL goalie to having 1 year in the K, and now he's will probably finish at what will end up being the league average for save percentages this year, maybe slightly higher. And you're paying him $4.5 million for the next 3 years. That is an overpayment. Now, maybe not. Maybe the Oilers finally fired Chiarelli, as they should. And as they should have a long time ago. Maybe they finally fire him. They bring in a GM who somehow makes it work, and that Koskinen deal ends up looking great. Odds are... Oops, wrong bumper. Odds are, probably not. It is a drastic overpayment. Corey Crawford's finally the Chicago starter. R.I.P. Razor. Duncan Keith, Steve Brooks, Hjalmarsson, so... It only took the Hawks winning a cup and then a few years later for them to start getting the overalls that they probably deserved. So, you know. 13, they started to get higher overalls. This year, though, they really started to get them. Although Patrick Kane was only an 86, which is kind of crazy. But, yeah. I don't know, man. That Koskinen deal, that's... It's interesting. It's interesting. I love the star system and hate the new system. You know, I think a lot of people felt the same way. I'm like, boo, we want the star system back, and now I can't imagine them switching back to the star system. I don't know if I'd approve. Probably not. Matt Duchene. Finally making that roster. Stahlberg was medium top 6. I mean, that was accurate for the time, I guess, depending on his age. Landeskog, who was a C- in his draft year at the start of the game, made 4.5 star. So there's that. Ryan O'Reilly, there we go. Okay, so this Colorado team finally starting to show some new faces. Peter Mueller finally working on it. I like it. Would end up with an amazing mustache by the end of it. But, yeah, I know they're the same thing, Dig, but I'm just saying visually. Visually, like, I wouldn't like the change back to it. I prefer the way it's laid out now. But, yeah, you're not wrong. It is literally the same thing. Ryan O'Beauty and Shane O'Brien on the same team. What a time to be alive. And Semyon Varlamov in Colorado. Jaguar is the backup. That is 76. That is depressing. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, if you're the Oilers... Hello, Bobrovsky. And Curtis backup, ain't he? If you're the Oilers and you already have an issue with bad contracts on your team... You don't hand out another potentially questionable contract. You just don't do it. Wow, they shafted David Savard. Shafted him. Like, Jack Johnson still having that potential at the time. That makes sense, right? But they shafted David Savard. That is brutal. Good old Rick Nash still there. He wouldn't be for long. He would not be for much longer. Nick Foligno's in Columbus now, too. Ryan Johansson, 4-star. Jared Bowl, 3.5. Not quite. Just funny that the Oilers struggle with cap space and they handed out the Koskinen deal. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, wow. Speaking of shafted, Cam Atkinson. Who did you piss off? Like, I know you were a 6th-round pick, so, I mean, hindsight, obviously, but it's just funny to look back at that potential. There are a lot of potentials that are fair for the time, but trust me, there were potentials and overalls that were certainly questionable, even at the time. So, it's interesting. 86, Kari Lettinen. Hindsight's a hell of a thing. But, yeah, if you're the Oilers, I mean, just what are you doing? Like I said, I mean, how much could Koskinen have potentially commanded? Yager in Dallas. I refuse to believe. Like, what argument is there? That's the only thing I could possibly imagine is that his agent argued. Toby Peterson's still in the game. That his agent argued, well, Cam Ward got 3. That's all it takes is one bad contract to screw up what everybody else gets. And I can't help but think Chicago throwing Cam Ward $3 million this season has something to do, as Cronwall's finally turned into Cronwall, that it has something to do with Koskinen getting paid as much as he is. But yeah, it's just batshit insane to me. Oh, God. But, you know, as a Bruins fan who has witnessed what happens when you keep when you keep someone, when you keep a certain GM around for a bit too long, I'm not surprised. That's all I can say. Especially when it's the same GM. So, Talbot's a literal garbage. Talbot's garbage because the Oilers drove him into the fucking Earth's crust for one season trying to make something happen. And he hasn't recovered since. But you also can't use the excuse of, Koskinen's numbers would be better if our defense wasn't garbage, but then say Cam Talbot's hot garbage too. It's like, well, no, Talbot's just probably bad, and the defense sucks in front of him too. So you can't pick and choose when to apply that narrative. Look at Jeff Petrie. How old is he? 24. Okay. Good old Theo. Good old Theo. Jordan Eberle, Taylor Hall. Hey, Hemsky finally isn't an 86 plus. It took a while. Oh, this Oilers team. Where you had some hopes. Some dreams. And, yeah, so much for that. So much for that. Of course, you could say that about any Oilers roster, 2012 to today. Ooh, Florida. Theodore and Scott Clemenson. That's rough. Dmitry Kolikov. Philip Kuva. Joe Cop. What was he, 36? 36. There you go. Good old Joe Cop and Erica Branson. Ooh, this Florida team. This Florida team. That is. How does Wolski still... Oh, he's 26. I thought Wolski would have been older. If you watch the Oilers when Talbot starts, it's a different team. I think it might be the same team. A tire fire of a team because, as I am well aware, Peter Chiarelli, again, when he overstays his welcome, doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And as it is, he still tries to build a team by 2012 logic. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Good old John Madden still in the game. Jack Skilly finally gets a picture, and George Peros has a mustache. Good old George Peros. Who we got on Los Angeles? Jonathan Quick, who cannot make a save and appears to be very depressed about it. Jonathan Bernier. Of course, this is the team. Boo that man. This is the team, fresh off of a cup win. So, they got that going for him. Sanjay Kopitar. Good old Jeff Carter. High starter for Bernier. He had good potentials for a very long time. A very long time. Scott Parse. Scott Parse, higher rated than Trevor Lewis. Things I did not expect to see in this game. That. Backstrom and Harding, still the 1-2 punch. Ryan Suter and Zach Parise have been moved to Minnesota. The contracts are finally in. Can I see the contract length from here? 13 years. 13 years. Tom Gilbert. For those who forgot, he was on Minnesota. Anyway, and Jared of course...
Spurgeon. Can we see the Jared Spurgeon?
There you go. Good old Jared Spurgeon. Good old Jared Spurgeon. Wow, Marco Scandella? Not highly rated at the time, huh? There you go. Zach Parise. Heatler. Yeah, Heater's still there. It's a weird time. Devin Setaguchi. And, of course, the Brent Burns deal happened the year before. Eric Christensen, Darryl Bow, Nashville had only one year of good Suter in game. Indeed. Yeah, it wasn't until he moved to Minnesota where that default rating took a big jump. As we accidentally hit the wrong button. So that's fun. That's fun. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened more often. We get to Montreal. Turtleneck, still the highest rated Montreal forward. Pat, you ready? Lars Eller and everyone's favorite Hab, Scott Gomez. David Desharnais finally has a half-decent rating compared to what he had before. God damn it. By the way, Blake Jeffreyon. That's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. PK 4.5. Caberlet in Montreal. What's worse for Leafs fans in chat right now and who potentially end up watching this on YouTube after the fact? Caberlet in Boston or Caberlet in Montreal? What's worse? In your opinion. Also, Chris Campoli, he was a defenseman. He existed. Mullen and Weber. And 90 Price. 90 Price. Desharnais, Oilers legend. Peter Budaj. Nashville. Sepeka Rinne is finally at that high level that he's basically been at since. 90 Weber. Jonathan Blum. Hal Gill in Nashville. That's something that's never talked about. Caberlet in Montreal. Look at Roman Josi. Now, in fairness, that's not exactly a magazine cover like it was last year, but still, handsome devil, that Roman Josi. Most Leafs fans would say Boston for the Cup. Well, that's the thing, though. For me, like if I were to look at it, I guess I'd be more upset to see Caberlet. Okay, so for example, right, had Sergei Samsonov won a cup in Montreal, but then later played for Toronto, which he did in real life, but obviously he was a Hab. I guess I'd be more upset to see Samsonov, which is a different story because obviously not the same level of tenure, I guess, but you get the point. If I were to have a long-time Bruin go on to win their first and only cup on a rival team, even if that team was, well, I guess it depends on who Toronto views as a bigger rival, Montreal or Boston. And at this point, they might say Boston, but at one point it was definitely Montreal. And in which case, hell, you also have to bring up Ottawa. I don't know. So I guess, yeah, for that instance, like, is it more painful to see Thomas Caberlet in Montreal because at least with Boston he won a cup, and that's, cool to have at least seen a long-time player win a cup. I don't know. It's a weird one to look at. Marty Brodeur, next year's cover boy. Solid rating. I love Marty Brodeur. Tim Thomas should have been on the cover of NHL 12, 13, 14, whatever. Damn shame. Adam Larson has arrived as New Jersey's top defenseman. Would eventually... Maybe that's what Peter Chiarelli did. He looked at Adam Larson's potential in this game and then looked at what Taylor Hall's was in this game and said, oh, okay. He just hadn't played NHL in a long time. He hadn't seen the updated rosters. Would you rather have Ray Bourque win the Cup with Toronto or Montreal? Well, the rather would be Toronto. But in this instance, it depends. Because, like, Montreal is obviously Boston's biggest rival. Is Boston Toronto's biggest rival? Or is it Montreal? Or even Ottawa? Or Buffalo? Like, do Leafs fans view Boston as the biggest rival? Peter Sikora, I love you. That's actually not the same Peter Sikora, is it? No, it is. Okay. I feel like that might have been a wrong picture. Because like I said, I mean, I guess, especially too, the opinion of Boston has changed a lot for Leafs fans in the past 6 years. But at the time, who was more hated? Shout out to Rick DiPietro, still kicking above an 80 overall. And there's Andrew McDonald. There's the promising McDonald that looked like it was worth picking up from Philly. So much for that. So much for that. What do we got a forward? Tavares still at an 85. Matt Molson. If only you had that Matt Molson still, huh? This isn't a terrible Islanders team, I guess. It's Boston right now, but historically Montreal probably. A decade and a half ago it was Ottawa for the playoff series. I guess it does change, yeah. Whereas for Boston, it's like, okay, people have been like, the Montreal rivalry, hello, Nino Niederreiter. For Boston, it's like, okay, the Montreal rivalry might not be as heated as it used to be. Like, the Toronto rivalry right now is probably the most heated. Or the Ranger rivalry, for that matter, especially after the last game. But, Jesus Christ, Ryan McDonough. I mean, that's never changed, though, right? Like, I guess it doesn't equate. Like, Toronto's biggest rival, I guess, kind of, it changes with the times, I'd say. Where they don't have that one main rival, but they have a lot of rivals, where Boston, no matter what, I mean, most hated team is Montreal. So, we got a forward. Again, this is just before the Rick Nash trade. Just before. Carl Hagelin's arrived. Matt Zuccarello. Chris Kreider, no picture. 68 overall, 3-star. There you go, Kreider. There you go. In due time. Anderson and Alex Auld. Erik Karlsson. Whatever happened to him? Nobody knows. Sergei Gonchar. Mark Mathot has arrived in Ottawa. Matt Gilroy. What a defenseman. Sens is supposed to be Toronto's rival. Yeah, it definitely fluctuates, though. I'd forgotten how good Zaldo was in these games. Yeah! He was an all-star this year. Or at least the year before. He's on the all-star roster by default in this game. Oh, Guillaume Latendresse. He would have been a pretty damn good player consistently had it not been for concussion issues. They still have that picture of Eric Condra. But, yeah, Del Zotto wasn't that bad for as long as people remember him being terrible, I guess. So, but obviously now you have Vancouver fans cheering in the streets because they got rid of him. So, there you go, Briz. Imagine getting rid of Bobrovsky because you have Ilya Bryzgalov, who's going to save the day. No, he's not. Pronger's still there, but I think at this point, this was either his final season or once it gets into, like, okay, yeah, he needs to kill his rating because he retired, but he's still under contract. And they weren't even in the habit of killing the ratings. Like, yeah, even Savard, I think, was still above an 80, wasn't he? I think. Pavel Kabina, Luke Shen. So the JVR trade had gone down at this point, too. Good old Eric Gustafsson. The Gustafssons. So Giroux, finally a superstar. Of course, he was the cover boy this year. Hartnell, Briere, Wayne Simmons, Voracek, Braden Shen. Matt Reed and Braden Shen. Same potential. Not quite. Couturier is there as well. Eric Wellwood, Jody Shelley. So Philly's slowly starting to get away from having the entire bottom six be nothing but goons. Mike Smith, Jason LeBarber. Nice of Mike Smith to finally get a new picture. Derek Morris, Yandel, and some guy named Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I don't think anything ever happened with him, though, did it? I don't think so. Go Michael Stone. 2.5 star for Michael Stone. That's rough. Vermette, the highest rated forward on the soon-to-be Arizona Coyotes. Fresh off of a conference final run, somehow, because a lot of this roster is basically the same. Although, shout out to Biz Nasty. Pittsburgh, 95 Crosby, 91 Malkin. Malkin had a higher potential than Crosby, which is really weird. They're both 25, or 25-26, so it doesn't matter, but, you know. Before the Sutter trade, or the second Sutter trade, he had just gotten there from Carolina. Boo that man. Boo that man. Ooh, that bottom six. It's getting rough. Tanner Glass. And Joe Vitale. Shame how his career ended, too. Via a fight. Crystal Tang is finally Crystal Tang in terms of overall. And Vokoun tied with Fleury on rating. Interesting. Brent Johnson, also known as Rick DiPietro's worst nightmare. Niemi and Grice in San Jose. There you go. Brent Burns. The transformation has truly begun. Shen for Del Zotto would have been an interesting trade back in 2012 as opposed to a nothing trade now. Yeah, that is funny, though. How, I mean, I want to say just a few years ago. It was more than a few years ago. Shout out to Douglas Murray. That would have been a pretty damn big deal. Not so much now. Oh, Jumbo. Logan Couture, 4.5. He's 23 at the time. Ryan Clough. Tommy Wingles. It's a solid San Jose team. St. Louis. Backus, Oshie, Perron. Also known as the core of players that was going to help bring the Blues back to prominence. And for one season, they started to. Good old Ryan Reeves, BJ Crombie. Jaden Schwartz, 65 overall, 4-star. How old is he? 20. I wonder if he actually develops throughout the course of be a GM. Probably not. Probably not. Oh, Roman. You look so happy to be here. Chris Russell in St. Louis. Who remembers that? It just seems weird to remember Chris Russell as a Blue. Goalies, Halak and Brian Elliott. The greatest Bruins goalie who doesn't currently have a concussion. Anders Lindback and Matthew Garon. Woof. Woof, that's rough. Texky, what's up, buddy? What's happening? Matt Carl, Victor Hedman. Matt Carl, higher rated than Victor Hedman. Solid. Oh, Matt Carl. Still the best Valentine's-related pun in existence. Brett Clark does not look happy to still be playing. It's like he's seen the rest of the team, and he's like, yeah, this is going to be rough. Ottawa gave up on Brian Lee. Keith Ollie, 4-star, huh? Not quite. Stamkos, what a guy. Rough time. Yeah, you know. St. Louis hadn't been traded yet, though, so you got that going for you. The Cavalier's still there. But this is the roster that kind of helped, you know, I mean, right around this time. Wow, Brett Connolly, 4-star, huh? Not quite. You know, this is the roster where it's like, oh, okay, that's why they ended up with so many decent picks and having a lot of picks to try and make something happen. Oh, Reimer. Reimer and Scrivens. The good old days. The good old days. That is the tandem that would drag this team to the playoffs. Dion Phaneuf, Lyles, Carl Gunnarsson, Jake Gardner, Cody Franzen finally in Toronto as well. Can't wait to see the forwards. Kessel, Lupo, Clark MacArthur, JVR, good old Tim Connolly. Look at this team that nearly beat the Bruins. So close. So close. Of course, it would change a little bit. But the Couve, Luongo and Schneider. Not for too much longer. Don't worry. You'll ruin that good thing. You'll ruin that in due time. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm not surprised at Hamhuis, or at Edler having that rating, but Hamhuis, 88. Damn. Damn. Derek Jocelyn, Andrew Alberts, and Christopher Tanev. Poor Tanev. That's a rough potential. That's a real rough potential. Pizza, buddy. What's going on? Okay. Here's the thing. I appreciate the host. I am currently about to begin airing my grievances over EA yet again having a different overall rating for Sedins. Last year, NHL 12, it was perfect. They were both like a 90 or a 91. And then this year, they felt the need to fuck it up again and make them different for no reason. And as a Bruins fan, I'm offended, so I can only imagine how Canucks fans feel. Pizza, again, thank you for the host. I appreciate it. How'd the stream go? Boo that man, by the way, if you guys would. Just look at him. Just look at him. Oh, boy. Imagine being able to say, yeah, my team employed both Alex Burrows and Max Lapierre. And there's Zach Cassian for the first time. Because that trade had happened. Dale Weiss. Dale Weiss. What a guy. I'm a Canucks fan, so that's triggering. See, there you go. Case in point. Neuwirth and Braden Holtby fresh off a kicking the Bruins out of the playoffs, and he got no respect for it at all. Little did they know, I mean, he would just sit there and spank the Bruins for the next 9 years. John Carlson, Mike Green, Roman Hammerlick. What a guy. Alright, so, I mean, that defense is starting to take shape. Orloff, I mean, Alsner before it went all downhill for him. John Erskine. Ovi, Backstrom, Brooks, Like. And, do it with me now. Alex Semin. There we go. Give him the hammer fists, Alex. Boo, that man. Diver. Boo, Diver. Marcus Johansson, Mike Knuble. Troy Brower. Joel Ward. Finally getting some respect over the past couple of years. Joey Crab. The NHL's forgotten all-star. He wasn't an all-star, I'm kidding. Andre Pavlik. Al Montoya. And Chris Carosi. Didn't work out too well, did it? Bufflin. Finally being treated like a superstar. Bufflin. There you go. And EA always believed in Zach Bogosian's ability to be amazing. Didn't quite happen. Vander Kane. How old is Vander at that point? 21. Andrew Ladd, Blake Wheeler, Brian Little. Nick Antropov and Ponikarovsky. Oh, boy. Alex Burmistrov, 20 years old. Old Tim Stapleton. Thorburn still doesn't have the beard, and it still makes me uncomfortable. It really does. And that's it for the NHL. So, as per usual, we'll double-check quickly through every other league, and we'll get to the CHL. Hopefully we can find some great names and some interesting prospects. Wheaton King was the top name from NHL 13. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to top that this time out. Oh, Danny Taylor. Never quite worked out for you, did it? TJ Brody, solid 4-star. Chris Breen. Who else do we got here? I remember editing these rosters. Paul Byron, the greatest Pirate. Just kidding, he wasn't the best Portland Pirate, but he was a good one. He was a good one. Ben Street, current Ducks great Ben Street. He's actually doing a little bit better than I thought he would have been. So I forgot about Leland Irving. He's been in the game. There we go. Okay, that answers that question. NHL 14, or 13. Yeah, NHL 13 is the first year of PL3. He finally adopted the Letourneau aspect of his name. PL3 is officially born. It's been funny watching the PL3 debacle and the BJ Brandon Crombeen debacle, as far as when they finally adopted the names. Jason Makashiwa, you were great from NHL 04 to NHL 13. That is the streak. You and The Undertaker before he loses to Lesnar. Makashiwa against The Undertaker, because that is the greatest goddamn streak of someone having a potential for no reason that I have ever seen. Literally, NHL 04 to this game, still really good, for whatever reason. Okay, last year it might have fallen off a little bit, but that year they finally kind of got it right. Why the hell was Mark... Oh, he was on the Winter Classic roster. You were terrible in game for me. Blake Kessel, the best Kessel. Brandon Manning. 3.5 for Brandon Manning. Not bad. Zolnicek. Tom Sestito, everyone's favorite. Everyone's favorite, Tom Sestito. Ooh, this, okay, yikes. So, Adirondack, not looking all that strong. Jarkov, Tedenby, okay, not looking that great either. Not even in terms of overalls and potentials. Dennis Hamill, wait. Why am I waiting for Dennis Hamill? Roy, I'm going to call you Roy, because why not? Thank you for the follow. What's the issue with Dennis Hamill that I'm missing? Architectsky, let me know. Let me know. Oh, God. But yeah, in terms of like, hey, these guys went on to have extreme NHL prominence. Not quite. So, I mean, aside from, like, when Steven Gianna is one of the standouts, it's kind of rough, you know? It's a little bit rough. See who they have on defense. Texky. What'd you send? Dennis Hamill scores. It was for Buffalo. It was for Buffalo. That would explain it. That would explain the Dennis Hamill goodness here. Texky, is it that good of a goal, or is it just the Sabres winning? And again, another host. Jesus Christ. Hope the stream went well. I guess I'm gonna watch Dennis Hamill score because Texky wanted me to. Let's. Ah, boy. Well, this better happen quick, man. I can't put a YouTube video within a YouTube video. I'll get in trouble with the NHL. That is a hell of a shot. And we don't have enough slap shot goals in the NHL anymore. Solid effort. Solid effort. Will I get in trouble for putting that up if I put this whole roster run through on the YouTubes? Probably, but that's okay. Fight me, YouTube. Fight me. Dan Kelly, cheap shot artist. Oh, God. Keith Kincaid. Future Devils great. Keith Kincaid. Chan Gang, thank you for the follow as well. It is appreciated. Welcome to the world of us just looking back through old rosters because I'm going through all the old 360 games. From 07 to 15, not NHL Legacy, because it's terrible. And literally changed nothing. Robin Leonard, 3-star. Thought it would have been better. And Ben Bishop, who EA very much gave up on. Very much gave up on. And then he gets traded to Tampa. And it works out relatively well. Who was a 47? I missed it. Oh, Kincaid was. Jesus, I didn't even notice it was that bad. And Brian Stewart, what a guy. Let's see how many people are now playing in the LNAH, the greatest fighting league on earth. Oh, Weir Koch, Eric Gryba, Mark Borowiecki. Jesus Christ. How old were you there? Not Patrick Weirkoch. Boro. 23. What a guy. Shout out to Bob Raymond. You know, Bob Raymond. The greatest player of our time. Bob Raymond. It's no longer a Goon League. I know, but John Jones didn't cheat this time. Reputations are reputations, right? So, you know, shout out to Kaspar Daugavins. Oh, God. Advaz, buddy. I don't know if you're still here, but again, I appreciate it. I appreciate the host. Shout out to future Rangers great Mika Zibanejad. And Mike Hoffman finally has a picture at 2.5 star, which was fair at the time because, I mean, come on, he was a 5th round pick. Nobody expected anything better. Derek Grant, Pat Cannone, the Canwan. Jesus, yeah, Binghamton was stacked. Year in and year out. You know, Mike Bartlett? You know Mike Bartlett, right? Outscored Sidney Crosby that one time. Mike Bartlett probably couldn't outscore Sidney Crosby at the NHL level when Crosby was out with the concussion issues. No disrespect to Mike Bartlett, but, you know, it is what it is what it is. Do I play NHL 19 Ultimate Team? Not a ton, because I like not spiking controllers. But, you know, sometimes we don't spike them. Not a ton. I kind of limit my, wow, they really dropped Anders Nilsson this year. I kind of limit my, my hut consumption to, the YouTube series I got going on. I call Leonard Face Tattoo. Sammy, what's going on, by the way, buddy? How you been? Oh, boy. Speaking of stacked, 2.5 star Calvin DeHaan. And Russ Sienkiewicz. You know, Russ Sienkiewicz. Colin McDonald. Jeremy Colleton still kicking around. Still kicking around. Was 27 at this point, which is mind-boggling. Or neck tattoo. Yeah, neck tattoo makes a little bit more sense. I'm like, face tattoo. I'll just let you roll with it, though. Because maybe I missed the joke. There you go, Trevor Gillies. Solid. Solid. Good look. And then it really drops off. Brett Gallant fought somebody in the NHL. That's all you need to know. Were we still with Portland? You were not, Architect. This was the fine year of the Coyotes being with Portland before, you know, everything went down. Before the ship sank, you see, because Pirates. But, yeah, Buffalo was with Rochester at the time. Mike Murphy and Chris Holt. Chris Holt was a real person. His finals week, so needless to say, barely been on Twitch in almost 3 weeks. Which is probably for the best. Stay far away from the internet. Live your life. Oh, God. Don't be like us, sitting here looking at rosters night in and night out. And actually playing the game, but, you know, roster editing. I'm not roster editing, but, you know, menu streaming. I don't know. I'm getting sick. I'm delirious. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Justin Kruger. That's a person. I'm convinced half of these people don't exist. And I remember editing the rosters at the time. I'm still convinced half of these people don't exist. Zach Boychuk, he follows you on Twitter. Timpa, what's going on, buddy? NHL 13 indeed. Man, Chris Terry, those eyebrows. The eyebrow game is strong. Riley Nash. What a guy. Nick Blanchard. He also was a goon. That's for the most, you know, for the majority of these guys, for a lot of them, most of them even, it's, hey, they fought somebody at the NHL level once. Eddie Lack was a 70. I mean, that's about accurate now, but he'd get better. Slightly. Barely, for like 2 seasons, and then be right back downhill. Oh, Byron Bitch, Jordan Schrader. There's a whole bunch of nothing in the AHL this year, huh? There's a whole bunch of nothing. It looks like this was the year where they're like, alright, screw it, we don't care about the AHL. Just generic. Everybody can have the same generic ratings. It'll be great. Don't worry about it. Connecticut Whale, Cam Talbot, and X-Tech's favorite, Jason Messina. 61 overall, 2-star Cam Talbot. That is rough. Wade Redden, how the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen for one Wade Redden. Look at all of the 2.5 stars. Was that AHL potential at the time? Because, good lord. Also, shout out to the Connecticut Whale, of course. It's just 2.5-star Central here, man. This is brutal. It's so bad. Ryan Bourque. When Ryan Bourque is one of the standouts. Whew, that Connecticut Whale roster, not good. Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids. Ty Conklin, Tom McCollum. Man, they even shortchanged Tom McCollum. That is brutal. AJ, don't you besmirch Johnny Boychuk's name. I will not allow it. I will not allow it. Oh, boy. Hey, there we go. The debut, I do believe, of Gustav Nyquist. There you go. 2.5-star, of course. Fabian Brunstrom. Alright, now that that's out of the way. Joakim Anderson. Anybody else of extreme note aside from they played a couple of games in the NHL? Landon Ferraro. I feel like a roster update fixed the 2-star in the AHL. I would hope so. Because these feel like very, very, very generic ratings. Like stupidly generic ratings. Cedric Desjardins. The good thing is with NHL 14, we will actually be able to get a roster update. So, that's pretty sweet. Zach Fitzgerald, solid hockey smile. I mean, like, just what? Again, it's a. We've said it before. It's a literal who's that of AHL history. Although, shout out to Louis LeBlanc. It's always great to see Louis LeBlanc. And Mike Blunden, they finally dropped down and didn't have him be absolutely ridiculously amazing. But, you know. It's like, yeah, these were guys in the AHL, all right. I recognize most of them. But, you know, still, it's rough. Hershey Burrs. Grubauer, a solid 56. Looks like Nuge's older brother. I still just, you know, if you were to be like, it's Nuge's cousin, I'd believe you. I'd believe you. Oh, God. Anybody? It's not looking good here, is it? Poor Hershey. Hershey was competitive around this time, though, and Steve Oleksi's a 56. Poor guy. Old man Taff. Olympian. Ryan Stoa. I like it. Oh, boy. Matt Bedoin. DJ King. Hey, Zach Hamill finally got dealt. They were generous keeping him at 2.5-star. That did not work out for Zach Hamill. It just didn't. I mean, someone mentioned one of the biggest, you know, a waste of potential. Zach Hamill. The Wrecker. Joel Reklich. Love him. What else do we have in Houston? Matt Hackett and Darcy Kemper was a 60. Like I've always said it, I'll continue to say it. Again, some of these ratings were okay. A lot of it's hindsight. But some of them were still off. Even for the time. And I feel like you could have given Darcy Kemper a little bit more credit. Che Genoway. Was Che Genoway the Olympian this past year? I think he was. Nick Palmieri. Holy 2.5s, man. Outside of Jason Zucker, who doesn't even have a picture yet at 20 years old. Joel Broda, Justin Fontaine. Like, this is the type of guy where if you didn't have a picture, you know, someone could say, hey, he's not even real, he's a generic player. And I'd agree. I could look him up in Elite Prospects, but I'd rather just agree. Oh, boy. Ty Berry. Solid 2.5-star potential. God, there had to have been an update to fix this. There had to have been. It's just nothing but 2.5 stars for the most part. Like, look at this. This is nuts. Again, this is the default launch roster. Because the servers are down and we can't update it otherwise. Patrick Bordelot. Good old Patrick Bordelot. That is a rough Lake Erie team. That is brutal. Manchester at least has Andrei Loktionov. Trent Hunter. I think Trent Hunter fell from an 81 to a 75 in one season. Which is rough. Ethan Morrow had a really harsh drop-off as well. Lyndon Vey. Brandon Cozen. So we continue to look at players who were supposed to be pretty good at the NHL level and never were. Rich Clune. Justin Johnson. Most recently a Marley, if I'm not mistaken. Thomas Hickey, Andrew Campbell, Jake Muzzin. I mean, look at the 2.5s. It's insane. It's insane. It wasn't like this in NHL 12, so what happened? Shout out to JF Berube and Martin Jones, both being terrible. Milwaukee, Jeremy Smith and Chet Pickard, the best Pickard. Not a debate. It's not a debate. Nothing but 2.5s. The jaw. Get Brody DuPont to play Superman. He's got the jaw for it. Zach Stortini. Absolute legend. And Holy Fins. Ben Ryan. You're not real. You're not real. You never existed. I am convinced. I am convinced. Norfolk. Delorier. Antero Nidimaki. Good lord. There were a ton of extremely harsh rating drop-offs this year. A ton. Damn. McMillan, Mark Bell, Patrick Maroon, still 2.5 star. Which, in fairness, I mean, everyone's 2.5 star, outside of Ryan O'Mara. So you got something going for you. Luca Caputi. You got something... Jesus Christ. Rough time to be around picture day to pick up that injury, huh? That is just unfortunate. That is just unfortunate. The jaw, the neck, do we have the skull? Good question. We'll find somebody. It might be Jan Denis. Holy potential. Colton Tubert. That man needs a nap. And an ice bag and some Advil. Oh, Colton Tubert. Just look up Colton Tubert Twitter. You'll have fun with that. Also, man, I guess LA moved on from him, but the game still kept him as a pretty high-rated prospect, which is interesting. Dylan Yeo. Any relation, I wonder. Magnus Pyarvi. He dropped the Svensson and dropped the ball. Linus Ullmark. Anton Landers coming up with good potential. Tyler Pitlick. Pitlick and Arcabello. Van de Velde. I mean, there's some decent players here. It wasn't completely horrible for the Oilers organization. It just wasn't amazing. Alex Stalock, Jake Allen. 22 at the time. And Mike McKenna, the greatest goalie of our time. Oh, boy. Scott Ford, Mark Kandari. Jake Gannon, you're not real. Go back to Hyrule. Oh, Jonathan Cheechoo. Poor guy. Poor guy. Jonathan Cheechoo. Hensick, Grachev. Apparently the Peoria Rivermen is where careers went to die. God damn. Like, that's the face you see when you think of, like, oh, I'm going to be a Peoria Riverman. Cool. Unfortunate name. Great hair. That's it for Peoria. What do we got on Portland? The greatest team. Peter Menino and Justin Pogge, of course. Look at that beautiful man. David Rundblad, 4.5 gold. I mean, I wish, dude, but he was a 17th overall pick. Good lord. That's one of the ratings, man. I get to see David Rundblad play. Not a bad AHLer at all. Just couldn't really make the full-time jump to the NHL. Chris Summers also a pretty good AHLer. Steen Arsene, former captain. Max Goncharov, never made it. Nick Ross, Matthew Brodeur. And we got a forward, Patrick O'Sullivan. Brett McLean, Chris Connor. Bull Duke. Bob Klinkhammer, Andy Mille, Kendall McCardle. Ryan Hallweg again finally has that amazing mustache. Ashton Rome, Jordan Schwartz, Brett Hextall, Evan Bloodoff. Damn. All right, Providence, what do you got for us? Anton Khudobin, Michael Hutchison. Okay, so Hutchison, like, I get he was a third-round pick in 22 at the time, but goddamn, EA. Goddamn, give him some credit. Barkowski, oh my god, Colby Cohen. Kevin Miller, there he is. Look at him. They had, like, the same picture in game for him for years. Warsofsky, too. 2.5. 2.5 for Torrey Krug. 60 overall, Torrey Krug. What a guy. Chris Bork. God, I wanted him to be so good when he came to the Bruins. It just didn't happen. He wasn't bad, but it's just kind of indifference. Jamie Arneal never made it. Lane McDermott was dealt to Dallas and then retired. Oh, boy. Whole bunch of... Well, that didn't work out. Shout out to Bobby Robbins, though. Gets called up for the Bruins, gets in a fight, gets a concussion, and that was it. David Leggio, the master of, again, pushing his own goal off of its moorings when a breakaway is coming up. Braden McNabb, 3.5 star. TJ Brennan, my favorite. My favorite. Outside of Luke Adam and Mark Mancari. Still love those two. I love you, Mark. I love you. Sign with the Maine Mariners, please. For the love of God. He has a protected Twitter account, otherwise I'd hound him over it. Like, screw it. If you can't sign Rumble, sign Mark Mancari, please. For the love of God. Throw me a bone here. Igor Gongolski. If you did not have a picture, again, I wouldn't believe that you're real. As we continue on through the land of 2.5 stars. Oh, Rostislav Olish. Jimmy Hayes. Good old Jimmy Hayes. Brandon Peary. Kyle Beach. If you want to throw the word bust around, there you go. Stahl, McKinnon, and Bork all on the Providence, just not the right ones. Fact. Fact. Jeremy Morin. Philippi Parody. Jesus Christ. Was Seam Levick fucking stealing lunch money again? Oh my God. Brandon Bolig, Chris DiDomenico, Byron Fraze. You know, in fairness, this isn't a terrible team, at least in terms of notable names who at least went on to be decent. Okay, defensively, it's a little bit more hit or miss, including former Bruin Ben Udes. Providence Bruin, at least. Carter Hutton. What did you do to get 2.5 over 2 star? What a guy. It's like winning the lottery. Jacob Markstrom, 4 star, 76. That was accurate at the time. Good old Chad Johnson and Dov Gourmet Morris. Colby Roback. Mikey Caruso. Like, again, he's not real. He's just not real. Michael Repick, James Wright, J.F. Jacques. I can't believe the amount of 2.5 stars. I cannot believe it. It's just nothing but 2.5 stars. Like I said, for the thought of, except for Garrett Wilson apparently, for the thought of, oh, they must have fixed it via update later. Yeah, probably. Oh, God, Springfield. Oof. Woof. That is an unfortunate roster, man. That is unfortunate. It gets a little bit better defensively with Holden, Lubeff, Dalton Prout, but damn, the eyebrows on Stephen Delisle, by the way. Would that be Delisle? I think it would be. Forwards. Nick Drazanovich. Matt Calvert still kicking around. Boy, I wonder whatever happened to this guy. Whatever happened to that guy. It's a damn shame he didn't make it. How long am I streaming for? At least until we finish this process. Perhaps not that much longer afterwards, though. For the sake of getting other videos done. Clean up on Delisle 5. Mark Dekanich, Edward Pascale. Alright, Winnipeg. I mean, again, for anyone wondering, like, man, it took Winnipeg a while to get going. Yeah, it's because Atlanta didn't leave them with a whole hell of a lot. And John Albert was a center, wasn't he? I don't think John Albert was a defenseman. Trace Cormier. Oof. Brock Trotter ended up on St. John's. Then again, with this whole 2.5 star nonsense, it looks like every team is bad. So, I guess, you know, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, St. John. Syracuse. Corey Conacher. Whatever happened to him? I know what happened to him. I'm just saying. You were traded for Ben Bishop. That's what happened. G.T. Wyman. Tyler Johnson finally doesn't look exactly like Justin Bieber. Good for you for getting a new haircut. And Richard Panik finally gets a picture. So he's got that going for him. And Andre Palat. again, you can start. We're at the beginning stages now where you can start to see major parts of this Tampa team taking shape, and it's kind of scary because of how goddamn good they are now, including Radko Gudas. It's still weird, like, to remember Radko Gudas in Tampa. And Dustin Tokarski. Andrew Raycroft and Tyler Beskorowany. What did you do to piss off EA with a 52? That is rough. Jordy Ben. Before the beard, Jordy Ben. And Brendan Dillon. Before the deal. Oh, boy, Raycroft. Raycroft played for a lot of teams, man. Scott Glennie. You want to throw the name Bust around? There you go. Scott Glennie. Colton Skeevier. Matt Frazier. I don't like to think about him. Interesting picture there. Eric Goddard was still playing. How? Antoine Roussel. Yeah, they were a little bit harsh with some of these ratings for sure. And even now, I'd argue they still don't have a lot of the ratings right in terms of, you know, utilizing a proper 0 to 99 scale, or in EA's defense, a 36 to a 99 scale to the best of its ability. But that's okay. They finally lowered Matt Lashoff's potential. It took forever, but they finally lowered it. Corbinian Holzer, Mike Koska, Jesse Blacker. I have too many memories about this Leafs team just because, again, I was following Dangle at this time. So, you know. Nazem Kadri, Joe Colborne. Kadri at least had a good potential. And a new picture. I'm at a Palmer, and I'm very upset. So back to water. Colton Orr. Imagine you're Colton Orr and you're lower rated than Kelsey Wilson. Imagine. And Will Acton. Tyler Brenner. Jesus. Who do you got, Wilkes-Barre? Cal O'Reilly, the best O'Reilly. Still had a good potential, too. Riley Holzfapel, which is still one of the best names around, bar none. Zach Sill, Brian Gibbons. Oh, boy, that's looking rough there for Pittsburgh. They do have Simone Dupre, though. So they got that going for him. Robert Bortuzzo, Boris Valabic, don't like to think about him either. Oh, Carl Sneap. Carl Sneap. Yeah, he must have started weighting physical stats less if Colton Orr. Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like you have certain... shout out to Noopy for the follow. You have enforcers going from, like, George Peros being, like, an 80 to, like, Colton Orr being, like, a 64. So, it's kind of nuts. Very inconsistent with what they wanted to do with the ratings. Worcester, the final team. Ari Sateri. Tyson Sexsmith is a 59. It took me until overtime to beat him in that game earlier. Matt Irwin, Matt Pellick, boo that man. Senna, you finally got a picture, buddy. Congratulations. Those eyebrows, though. Those eyebrows. James Shepard, John Matsumoto, good old Bracken. Tim Kennedy. Texky's favorite. Lots of good chart lines on the Marlies. It's like, we might not be good, but damn it. You could carve something out of granite on this chin. That was the best thing I could come up with. Hopefully it worked. And Jack Combs, I got sniped by the lowest overall guy on their team, forward-wise. So that's the AHL. Still not a ton. Let's look at the... Again, I'm not even going to bother, I think, with some of the lower leagues, but at least Sweden and Finland. And then we'll go through the CHL, as we always do. So the big thing here is looking for the younger players, like a Joachim Nordstrom. Joachim Nordstrom appears to be the only one. Who else do we got? We'll look at goalies too. Johan Larsson. Don't know what the hell his potentials are, but that's okay. So hold on, let me check something. If I do this, does it stay on the youngest? It does. Okay, cool. So Johan Larsson, one Mr. Silverberg, who was 21 at the time. And Matthias Ekholm, who hadn't made the jump yet to Nashville. It took us an hour to do NHL and NHL. That sounds about right, though. There's a lot more to check. That's the problem. Also, there were distractions. So, you know, it is what it is. Victor said, Svedberg. Max Gertz and Oscar Klefbom. Fresh off of being a... Well, actually, not even fresh off of being an Oilers pick. And Anton Grundle. Which is still just a great name. Some kid named William Karlsson. Who knows whatever happened to him. Jesper Fast. Linkoping has nobody. Outside of Christopher Fish. Dean Kukan. Current Blue Jackets, great. Ludwig Bystrom. Gets a little bit more hit or miss, man. Hampus Lindholm, though. The Hampus. Congrats, you get 3.5 star after being a top 6 pick. Have fun. Dennis Everberg. Victor Arvidsson, 3 star. 3 star Arvidsson. Oscar Lindberg and John Klingberg. Oscar Lindberg, John Klingberg. Same thing. Same type of player in terms of high-end talent. Max Freiberg. Oh, some of these ratings, man. Just brings out the roster editing itch, and I don't like it. Tim Heed, Dennis Rasmussen. That's it for Sweden skaters. What about goalers? Any goalers want to join the cause? Nick Lundstrom. Oscar Dansk.
Dance.
You know, because why not? Remember Hampus Lindholm was projected 15th in the Sens that year. We're picking 15th. I was super excited, and then the Ducks took him when we got Cody Ceci. Yeah, it's a pretty depressing what could have been, huh? It's pretty depressing. Magnus Hellberg and some dude named Frederick Anderson. Don't know whatever became of him. 6'4", 247. Jesus. If that was accurate. If that was accurate. Any other big names that we haven't seen before? Not looking like it. Not looking like it. Sweden, you're disappointing in terms of goalies. You're very disappointing. Yeah, nothing else there. What do we got in the SM Liga? To Finland we go. Let's go age. Juuso Aikkonen. Miro Aaltonen. On Espoo. Marcus Granlund and Mikael Granlund. There you go. And the world's most dangerous man. Who will still just take your lunch money without giving, you know, no second thought. No second thought. Oh, God. Michael Karainen, who never successfully made the jump. Teuvo Teravainen. Oh, shit. Well, dig. That's what happens when it's late. My bad. You're only looking forwards. Thank you. Well, let's hope there was nobody there. I thought I hit the button over one more time. We missed out on Ilari Millard. I'm sorry. The funny thing is, we didn't miss out on anybody aside from Jyrki Jokipaka, who we already knew was in the game. So, we have that going for us, at least. Teuvo, Timu Polkinen. And a bunch of nothing. Sami Vatanen. He was 21 at the time. That picture is not from when he was 21. Johanna Vitu. Iro Pakarainen still had a good potential. That chipped tooth. Ugh. Man. Just get the rest of the tooth removed, man. I don't like that. I'm not leaving half of, you know, like a third of a tooth just hanging out of my gum line. Fuck that. What a champ. Vili Polka, Mika Salamaki, Unis Donskoy. Not bad. Nobody there on the Luco. What about Pelicans? Anybody? Not really. Dental work must be rough in Finland. Might not be worth it for him. Alex Barkov. Sasha Barkov. 3.5. Yet to be drafted. Future number 2 pick. Little did EA know. Maybe by the end of the year they actually gave him a proper update. Rasmus Ristolainen. Never heard of him. 52 overall. Yet to be drafted. Mr. Armia. Host your stream. Ah, Felipe, it went through. But if it's just a one-person host, then no alert pops up for the avoid to have people not be able to spam that. Got any goalies in Finland at the time? Anybody? Yanni Ordio. Oh boy, it's looking kind of rough. Toskala moved over to Finland. It's not... hey, Mikko Koskinen, guess what, buddy? Cheer up. You're going to get paid a shitload of money. Just wait a couple of years and the Oilers are going to overpay you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All of your problems are going to be solved by Peter Chiarelli. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Ranta's still there as well. That's it. No goalies in Finland. Extremely disappointing. So let's check out the CHL. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. We start off in Barrie with 3-star Mark Scheifele? Mark Scheifele. 3-star Mark Scheifele. I don't know why the main Mike came through. Mark Scheifele, Mike. Yeah, well, you know, the I's and the E's. I'm sick and tired, damn it. Tanner Pearson, solid 2.5. I swear to God, if the majority of these players are 2.5 stars, well, I'm going to lose my mind. Just retroactively hate everything about this. Future Bruin Anthony Kamara. Again, we're looking for interesting pictures, interesting names. More so in the W. That's why we save the W for last. They always have the best names. 2.5 star Aaron Ekblad. Right. That would change. That would drastically change. Jonathan Laser. Jonathan Laser. Right now stands as the best name that we've seen. We've started things off early with Jonathan Laser. And Mr. Niederberger, which, you know, is also pretty good. Red versus gold. Basically low, medium, and high accuracy like we have now. So red's low, gold's medium, green is high. So it's the same exact system, just a different way to display it. Malcolm Subban. Good old Malcolm Subban. Brady Austin, future Sabres disappointment. Jordan Subban. How old were you? 17. Damn. You are too old to be playing in this league, sir. Who else do we got? Greg Such has a brother and they play together. They were such and such line. Oh, boy. One more time. I guess Brendan Gaunce. Jesus Christ. You were a Canucks pick, weren't you? Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. I'm sorry that you cannot say that at some points EA weren't biased with their ratings. You cannot say it. There is no reason the 26th overall pick in that draft should have been 4.5 star. I'm sorry. But at one point, they were clearly biased with some of their prospects. Brendan Gaunce is proof of that. Because that's ridiculous. And people wonder, like, hey, why the hell did you get addicted to roster editing? That's why. Because the Lord knows they gave me enough work to have to do. Jesus, shout out to Garrett Huey. And Mac Lemon. Mac Lemon. Solid name. Higher than Scheifele. By far. Not even just higher than Scheifele. By far higher than Scheifele. Brampton. Maciej Machowski still there. Cameron Wind. Or is it Wind? He'll never tell. Dylan Blugis. Oh, it's so bad. I'm a Canucks fan, but no. Exactly. Sam Carrick. Barclay Goodrow. Philip Lane. Future Portland Pirate. Someone get Gaunce a $4.5 million contract, right? I agree. Patrick Machak. Jesus Christ, the black eyes are out of control. The black eyes are out of control. No, that's the thing. We want Edmonton to screw up their team even more. Connor McDavid might get traded. Jesus Christ, so much violence. So much violence. I haven't seen a crazy picture yet or anything like that, aside from the violence. Erie Otters. Mr. Sadikov and Devin Williams. Adam Pelech. Didn't miss him this time. Old Travis Wood, Troy Adane. That's a hell of a name. Just saying, that's a hell of a name. Do we really want McDavid to suffer? No, I want him to be traded. Dane Fox, 4-star. Not quite. Not quite. Connor Brown. Fresh off of being a 6th round pick for the Leafs. Connor Brown. Jake Evans. Jake Evans. Connor Crisp. Mitch Eisenberg. That's a hell of a name. Can you tell that there are some Italians living in Ontario? Garrett Sparks. Garrett Sparks. Yeah, McDavid, if he ends up being in this game, would have been through a roster update, or he'll be in next year. I do believe. Oh, good old Garrett Sparks. Matt Finn. Andre Padan. Good old Zach Leslie, Ben Harper. I mean, there are at least future players here who made it to the NHL at one point or another. So they got that going for them. Stephen Harper. Yeah, I was going to bring it up, but I'm like, let's not. Zach Mitchell, Tanner Richard. Good old Scott Kosmachuk, who never really made it. Justin Auger. Chris Dickinson. Ryan Horvat. Brock McGinn. Tyler Bertuzzi. At 17. Already has a punchable face. What? What? I didn't say anything. Keegan Calder. Is he related to Kyle Calder? Good question. Igor Bobkov. You're too old to be playing in this league, sir. How old are you? 21. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Oh, boy. Alex Goodbranson. The best Goodbranson. Warren Steele. Braden Blight. That's just a good name. Kyler Nixon and Andrew Tessier. I'm going to get a forwards. Darcy Greenaway. Connor Stokes. Cody Alcock. Ryan Kuchowinski. Never made it for New Jersey. Never made it for New Jersey. Mitch Fitzmaurice. That is not a good Kingston team. I was thinking punchable face too. It's true. John Gibson. Well, EA was very much on the Gone Gibson. Very much on the Gone Gibson train at this point in time. I need to go to bed again. I can't sleep this away. I'm getting delirious. It's getting worse. The whole Bertuzzi family played for Guelph. Well, you know. Ryan Murray. Max Iafrate. Never quite made it. Ben Finelli. Jared Gilbert. Jesus Christ, the facial wounds are out of control. So I'd say they had faith in Radek Faksa. Toby Reeder not so much. Tyler Randall not so much. But they had faith in Radek Faksa to be great. Better than Scheifele. Radek Faksa. Gone for Vezina. I agree. Ben Thompson. Mattia Marcantuoni. Oh my God. Kelly. Hate to tell you, Kelly. Your parents wanted a girl. Because they weren't willing to give up on the name. Not saying that there aren't men named Kelly. There are. But, I mean, you know. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're moving on. Michael Hauser. Jake Patterson. Tyson Teichman. He's going to tight you something. Felipe, no worries, buddy. Catch you later. Catch you later. Jared Tenorti. Also, they had faith in Oli Mata. Scott Harrington. Oli Mata. Fresh off of being the 22nd pick. Doesn't have 4.5? The hell yeah. Kevin Rain. He and Deej go to the same hairstylist. Austin Watson. Vladislav Namestnikov. Seth Griffiths. So London was still stacked. Jared Knight. Max Domi makes his first appearance. Punchable face. Matt and Ryan Rupert. Athanasiu's still in. Chris Tierney has a picture this time. And some guy named Bo Horvat. Jesus Christ, London. Josh Anderson, too. Holy shit. So Anderson, Horvat, Tierney, Athanasiu, Max Domi, Namestnikov, Austin Watson, Craig McKegg, I think, is still current as well. And then obviously guys like Griffith have made it. Holy shit, that is a stacked team. Mississauga. Didn't really work out for Spencer Martin. Stuart Percy, Dylan DeMello, Trevor Carrick, Jacob Graves, who was just traded recently. Who else do we got? Who else do we got? Scott Teskey. That's who we have. I am so looking forward to the WHL. I'm looking forward to the names. Mark Vizentine, 4-star. Jesus, that's right. He was a first-round pick. He was okay in Portland, but yeah, never quite got it together. Jamie Oleksiak. How tall was he at this point? Jesus Christ, 6'7" and 90. Monster. Dougie! Still just 3-star Dougie Hamilton. These ratings sucked. I'm sorry. These ratings, they just weren't good. They just weren't good. Hindsight or not, like, you can see the inconsistencies. There's Ryan Strome. 3-star for him after being a first, the top 5 pick. Ugh, it's just not good. It's Joel Wiggle. Good old Wiggle. Carter Verhaeghe. Good old Carter Verhaeghe. Museum boy Dougie. David Altshuler and Kevin Bailey. Melchiori. Colin Sullentrop. Still a great name. And again, Nick Quinn. Or as people, I mean, it's kind of unfair, but, you know, that picture just looks photoshopped. Like someone said, he looks like an Animorph. Chris, I appreciate the haircut. Well done. Andy Andreoff, Christian Thomas, little Boone Jenner. 5-star museum lover, indeed. Quite a few former and, current NHLers in Oshawa as well. Not Cody Payne, though. Not Cody Payne. Cole Castles. Didn't quite work out. It's not a terrible Oshawa team, but not quite London level. Peter Mrazek, up to 3.5-star. So congrats. EA likes you for some reason. They put you on the good list. Mark Anthony Zanetti. Still love him. Tyler Toffoli. Former Florida Panther John McFarland. Yet to be drafted Sean Monahan. If you think London was good, wait until you get to Halifax to win the Cup. I'm looking forward to it. Shane Prince. Tyler Gravach. Ben Dubois. That's not a terrible Ottawa team. It's got some decent pieces. Owen Sound. Little Jordan Bennington. Keevan. Gotta love the Keevans. That is such a forced smile. You could tell. Jay doesn't have the smile. Good old Jake Dotchin. 205. Chris Bigris, no picture, and Curtis McDermott. Former NHLers, at least. Mike Halmo. Daniel Catanacci. There you go, Jamel. No more, what was it, fucking Gemmel? Or, no, it wasn't Gemmel. It was Genel, or whatever the fuck it was. It was, that's just not good. I wonder if they fixed it in the roster update. Joe Blandisi, who people freaked out about Anaheim trading, and it's like, it's not a big deal. Zach Nastasiuk. Holden Cook. Gellin, that's what it was. It was so totally off. It was Gellin. I don't know how I managed to forget that. I do, because I'm having a weird night and I'm tired and getting sick. Shit sucks, dog. Clark Seymour. Slater Cuckoo. Slater Cuckoo. Trevor Murphy. Matt Plemple, fresh off of being a first-round pick the last year, 2.5-star. Alan Quine. Like, seriously, you wonder why there's someone like me out there who's now obsessive over this shit. You did this to me, EA. I could have been a doctor. But now look at me. Stuck here. Nick Ritchie. Oh, God. Jeremy Gottsman. He sure does. Plymouth. Scott Wedgwood. Scotty Wedgwood. Bo Schmitz. Still love Bo Schmitz. And Dario Trutman. You got for forward Stefan Nason. JT Miller. JT Miller and Ricard Raquel. They recovered relatively well from losing Sagan. Good old Tom Wilson still there. Danny loved himself some Bieber, which is fine. You can love whatever you want. I mean, as long as it's legal. And Matt Mistella, who I remember because I used him in franchise mode all the time. All the time. Not quite Grant Weberman levels, but still. Saginaw. Man, Clint Windsor. He used to become really good at one point. I don't think it was this game, but... Hey, speaking of Grant Weberman. Speaking of the greatest defenseman of all time. Grant fucking Weberman. And nobody drafted him, and I'm not happy about it. I don't think he was either. Brandon Saad, 2.5 star. Vinny Trocheck, 2.5 star. It's just not great. Nick Mutry. What is going on back there, Justin? Terry Trafford, R.I.P. of course. Jimmy Lodge. Ryan Tuffin. That's a great name. I'm sorry. Ryan Tuffin. That's a strong name. J.P. Anderson and Brandon Hope. Brandon Hope used to become good in these games too. Connor Murphy. Look at him. How old were you at that point? 19. That picture was from when we were 16 tops. Tops. Absolutely tops. Tony D'Angelo, 2-star. And Jack Kuzmic, rocking the glasses, Sean Avery style, who you might have noticed was not in the game. Whoo! Nail Yakupov, 4.5. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. And some kid named Alex Galchenyuk, 2.5, after being the number 3 overall pick. Oh, well, we fixed it with the first roster update. Doesn't matter. Should have been fixed for game's launch. Ryan Spooner, waivers. Reed Boucher. Didn't quite make it either. Craig Hutot. Hooray, Craig Hutot. Justice Dundas. Justice Dundas. That is a tremendous name. The Sioux, Jack Campbell, 4.5. I mean, you couldn't have known. And some kid named Matt Murray, 2.5, red. Life comes at you fast, boys. Life comes at you fast. Ryan Sproul, Mike Schwint. Gianluca, Colin Miller. Darnell Nurse. Dig, what do you think of Darnell Nurse's rating? Probably deserves a bit of a bump. Nick Cousins. David Brohl. So many similar hairstyles. It's out of control. It's out of control. Who do we got on Sudbury? Mike Scarbosa. Josh Levo. Matthew Campagna. Nick Baptiste. Nick Baptiste. Oh, my shoulder, dog. It's bugging me. Nurse is our best V-man during that time. So, yeah, so there you go. Frankie Corrado. Charlie Dodaro. Why does Matt Murray look like Ninja? I'll go back and look in a second. Holy shit. John Matson, Viano. He kind of does. It's like Ninja's older brother. Like, say, like, Ninja was, like, 18. Like, that's his 21-year-old older brother who came back from college, just sits in his room and just does nothing but smoke pot. And listen to fucking 311. Beautiful. So, emote? What do we think? Emote? I think that's emote potential. That's emote worthy. Murray was a 44. Yeah, he was. Derek Holden. Oh, boy. Nick Eberts. Well, Nick Eberts, the most notable name on that defense corps. Outside of Tom Kuenhockel and Kirby Reichel and Alex Kovalchev. Whew, you know you're having a bad time. Ty Bilke and Stefan Allange. God, some of these names. And that's it for the O. The O provided some good entertainment. Let's go to the Q before, again, saving the W for last. Has to be done. Has to be done. Show me a good rating for Raphael LaFontaine when we get there. Alec John Banville. Really? And holy no pictures, Batman. Holy no pictures. Jesus. A lot of no pictures. Damn. That's half the fun. Maxime Lamarche, when he's the top most notable name on your defense corps at the time. Kind of shows how well that worked out. Wow, okay. These... So far, the Q is not working out for us in terms of entertainment value. Oh, Cedric Paquette and Christopher Clapperton. Good old Chris Clapperton. And Samuel Hodhod, still in the game as well. It's a great game as long as Samuel Hodhod's here. Xavier Juarez. Matt Provost. Man, the Q, aside from Storm Phaneuf, who is a legend, it's, you know, it's there. The QMJHL, it's a thing. William Carrier. Oh boy, yeah, this is. We don't have much to go off of here, do we? The familiar names are at a minimum. The crazy pictures are at a minimum. The crazy names are kind of at a minimum. I mean, Lucas Sedlak is one of the biggest names we've seen so far, as is Pajot. It's, and Charlie Houdon. But, it's, and Jeremy Gregor. Damn. Chris Gibson. The Q is not, what about Tolliver? Dig, I don't even know what fucking team he was on at this point. It was a while ago. Was he a forward? He must have been a forward. What about Tolliver? What did we miss? I don't even know where the hell he is at this point. Was he a goalie? Fuck it, who cares? Too late. It's taking too much time. Drummondville. Saxrud Danielson. Just the name Tolliver. Was it a surname, though? His first name is Tolliver. Oh, that's why I wouldn't have seen him. Yeah, having a first name of Tolliver, that's questionable. That's questionable. And again, just a case of parents trying to be difficult and original. And, again, that's how you end up with Absides running around. So, there is that. Got to know. Add that to the this is or that is that counter. Hawking's wheelchair. You must be feeling pretty lonely nowadays, huh? That's right, I said it. You can't troll me. Get out of here. Get shit on. I one-upped your joke. And I'll take your place in hell for that one. Oh, God. Who else do we have here on Gatineau? David Weckworth. Solid name. Tomasz Hika. There you go. Rock Regenbald still kicking. Alexandros. Okay, you gotta be like of Greek descent. That's the only way. That's the only way. Emile Poirier. That didn't work out. Tolliver Bergeron. Ah, well. At least you know it's there. Mr. LaFontaine. Again, he and Grant Weberman. Often the stars of my BGMs at the time. Tyler Gaudette. Aside from that, Gatineau was having a real rough time. Halifax with Zach Fucale. No picture, unfortunately, but, you know. This was their defense for the Memorial Cup win, huh? There was not much in terms of, I mean, I don't think a single one of them played an NHL game. Adolschauser might have. I know he was an AHL staple for a while, but wow. I mean, I get the offense, right, with 2.5-star Nathan McKinnon. I'm sure that would change by the end of the year. Martin Ferk. Travis Rand. How the fuck? Like, just, obviously, like, you know, success doesn't always translate, because someone could be a great junior player and not do anything at the pro level, but still. That is not the most impressive team with hindsight. Not even close. Not even close. Miles McGurdy. Love the last name of McGurdy. And the Saunier of brothers. Delalhude. 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 McCausland. Solid. Again, the WHL has to be, outside of the Tolliver, has to be the best name. The best opportunity for names outside of Jessica Bernard, which is just great. Josh Curry, speaking of great junior players who couldn't really get it to work, or Jan Pavel LaPlante, who ends up getting drafted, I think, by Vancouver. Hey, that's where the name Oda Reyes comes for. Deverick Oda Reyes. Or perhaps it is somehow Derek Oda Reyes. It has to be Oda Reyes, right? Good old Oda Reyes. Kelly Bent. That's an interesting name. Mr. Levesque, Mr. Chapstick. I refuse to call him Capstick. Jimmy O'Ligny, Ryan Graves, unless he got pissed, and then I'd call him by his actual name. Tyrone Sock, and Dane Phaneuf, with Mr. Lagasse and Anton Bibeau. Future Leafs great, Anton Bibeau. Louis Domingue. Who else do we got? Who else do we have? Ryan Culkin. Mikhail Grigorenko, fresh off of being 12th overall, gets 3-star. Lucky dog. Logan Shaw, Adam Ernie, Anthony Duclair, Nick Sorensen, Gabe Desjardins. This Remparts team is pretty solid. They're very top-heavy, from the looks of it. Very top-heavy, from the looks of it. I know that feel. Philippe DeRozier. Yeah, the Q, I'm not going to say Oda Reyes could be a First Nation. Yeah, but you think it would be separated, right? That it wouldn't just be one word. Sam Morin. And Dale Dion. The QMJHL is yet again disappointing in a lot of ways. It's, you know, like the big names are big names, but, you know, it's kind of weaker in comparison to the O, and especially to the W, typically. We'll see. Last year's W class, although red... Never mind. Never mind. It's all worth it. We've reached that, we've reached the point where it's all worth it. Red G boys. You're not Reggie. I mean, I guess you are Reggie, but that's not how you fucking spell Reggie. Reggie boys. Good old Reggie boys. And Sven Andrighetto. Fucking Reggie boys. Just spell Jeremy the right way. Don't be so French about it. Marcus Power. Reggie boys. What kind of weed you smoking today, Reggie boys? Jesus. Oh, the Huskies. Great team. Great team. St. John. Bunch of nothing. You are too old to be playing in this league, sir. 21, more like 32. Nathan Boyer. The old Boyer. And Jason Seed. Jonathan Huberdeau. Fresh off of being a number, or 2 years removed from being a 3rd overall pick. 3-star. Tomas Yurko. Zach Phillips. Stan Galiev. And Charlie Coyle. 4-star. 28th overall. 4-star. EA. Again, EA, you did this to me. I'm the reason. You're the reason that I'm the way I am. I am the reason. I'm the reason. Add that to the quotes. I am the reason. Oh, God. 4.5, Brandon Gormley. It's so bad. Morgan Ellis, John Racine. It is just not good. It's just not good. Bourneval, Chaput, Gabanov, Vayu, Anton Zlobin. Isn't this Shawinigan team was really competitive at one point too, with Anton Zlobin on the roster? I remember that. Because people are like, he's gonna make the jump. He didn't. You are too old. You are at least 35 years old. I call bullshit. Moving on. Shout out to Schufelt. Moving on. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. We're moving on. We're moving on. EA. EA. Come on. Again, it's shit like this that is the reason why this brain doesn't operate in a normal manner when it comes to being obsessive over roster editing. It's because of shit like that. Hey, Anthony Mantha, 2.5 star, no picture. I cannot believe that just happened. Come on, man. Oh boy, that is not good. That is not good. Brandon Whitney. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Philip Deneau. I don't even Philip Deneau. Or Yanni Gord. Like I said, man, a lot of this has been... I'm just gonna say, at times, the standard has been quite low. Also, EA, you know my email address. And my address. And my phone number. So let's make something happen. To the WHL we go with 3.5 star Mark Stone and Michael Furland. I need some good name. Like, nothing's gonna top that, right? Like, last year we had Wheaton King and Tyrell Seaman. Wheaton King's probably still on this team. Carter Proft. Not bad. Bruno Mraz. Where's Jason Mars? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, Jack Palmer. No? Wheaton King's gone? Was Wheaton King a one-season wonder? That's unfortunate. 4.5 star Ryan Pulock. Eric Roy, 4 star, or wow, that didn't work out for him. You are at least 35 years old. One of these times, I'm going to be right again. Like I said, the standard for them at times wasn't the highest. I think that shows. Why do you roster Reddit? I hope somebody clipped that so I can be like, this is why. And you look back and see. It's like, does no care go into the rosters before a game launches? Chris Dreger. See, Janen Rissling. Also, Janen, #1. No, he ended up being a Hurricanes guy, I think. Peter Kosterman. Keaton Lubin. Keaton Lubin. Jimmy Bubnick. This must be your last... Yeah, it's your last game, Jimmy. Everybody say goodbye to Jimmy Bubnick, but say hello to traded for Nino Niederreiter, Victor Rask. Victor Rask. If Wheaton's in, he's on Moose Jaw. He probably is. Brooks Mashek. Trevor Cheek. I cannot believe that happened. Joe Cornelson. Or Cornelson. Calder Brooks. They really wanted you to win that trophy. Didn't quite happen. Chase Clayton. Rob. Oh boy. Edmonton. Laurent Brossois. And Tristan Jarry. That's not a bad goalie tandem in hindsight. I have to think that the roster's not complete by the time they ship, so it's a day one update. I mean, it has to be, but still. It doesn't look good. Like, just have it be last year's roster, though. Because you have 21-year-olds there, so why not just have a random 21-year-old goalie? Instead of a 41-year-old. There's the big potential boost for Griffin Reinhart, so they weren't afraid to hand that #4 overall pick a big potential boost. Marcin Gernat. Keegan Lowe. It's not a terrible defense core. Mason Geertsen. Oh, God. Henrik Samuelsson. Didn't get the big potential boost. I wonder why. They were right in hindsight, but still. Curtis Lazar. Jesus Christ. He wasn't even drafted yet. Jordan Peddle. Clark Wilson. Goddamn you, Clark. Tristan Sieben. That's a new one. Cole Benson. That's not a terrible Edmonton team. Edmond team. It's an Edmond team. Austin Lotz, Kent Simpson. Ryan Murray, big potential boost. Austin Adam. Ty Hand. Again. Some dude way back when just said, what's your last name? Hand. It's ridiculous. Josh Wenquist. Teal Burns! The ultimate teal. That, you know, that Bacon's been complaining about for years. There he is. Cole with... Oh, Cole. Your parents hate you. Your parents hate you. Trent Lofthouse. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Jari Erickson. Jari. Sorry. Just, it's not good. It's just not good. Jordan with the Y, because of course, good old Manraj. Manraj Hair. Kamloops. Anybody? Okay, we don't have enough Bronsons lying around. Not enough Bronsons in this world. Brandon Radford gets a huge bump up as a 7th round pick for no reason. Or Brendan Radford, I should say. Dylan Willick. Jordan DePape. Tim Bozon. No. Matt Needham. It's Needham. No, it's Needham. Aspen Sturzer. I mean, people have been naming their kids after cities for a long time, so it's nothing new. Still dumb. Kelowna, Adam Brown, Jordan Cook. Damon Severson. 4-star Damon Severson. What a guy. Colton with an E. Madison Bowie, 2-star. 2-star, 49 overall, Madison Bowie. Jesse Lees. Because you don't have enough E's and S's in your name. We gotta name you fucking Jesse. Your parents don't like you. You're not comedic, Mr. and Mrs. Lees. Jesus Christ, can I buy a vowel? Forwards, Brett Ballmer. Holy shit. And a 2nd round pick of the Wild. Okay. Shane McGolgan. Colton Sissons. I bet Preds fans wish you were that good. You're pretty good. But, you know. Cody Chicky. Tyrell Goulbourne, the legend. The legend. Tyrell Goulbourne, undrafted. At least in his first year of eligibility. Good old Tyrell Goulbourne. What a guy. Kootenay. Skapski. Mackenzie Skapski. Mr. Dirk. I think this is his last year in junior. Tanner Muth. Spencer Wand. 4-star Max Reinhart. 4.5-star Sam Reinhart. It's the same picture of Reinhart that they had in the game for years upon years upon years. Like Bergeron levels. Dylan with an E. Dylan. It is Dylan. You need to do GM mode and see if you can draft that 41-year-old man. I really should. Levi Cable. Levi Cable. Lethbridge. Landon Oslansky. Not bad. Albin Blomqvist. And McCoy Urkamps. Brody Sutter. Philip Tott. Still in the game. Jamal Watson. Jamian? Jamian. That's a face that says, I know, my parents are not original as they think they are. Just have it be Jaden or Damien. Don't go with fucking Jamian. Come on, man. Come on. These damn parents who think they're creative. Yes, in my world, everyone would just be named Michael. Keep it simple. Damn it. Madison Hack. Good old Tyler Buns. I like how they, you know, Buns with a Z, though. We're not going to be too big. You know, whoever decided that's our last name, we're not going to be too ridiculous. Like, what happened? Was the first name of the first family BU, and then the other name of the last family ended in NZ, and they're like, well, we're uniting the families, so... Buns. Like, what? How does that become a surname? It fascinates me to no end. Patrick Parkin. I thought his name was Patrick Patrickinen. That would have been amazing. Tyler Lewington. Emerson Edom. And Hunter Shinkarik, both 4.5. Curtis Volk. Kale Cassie. Boston Lear. See, case in point. They love naming people after places. I see you, EA. I see you, EA. I see you. You can't just go and have it look like a different person. I see you, EA. I see you doing this. Fucking acute obtuse. I see you. You can't even tell me that's a coding issue. Like they just got the wrong numeral wrong, because the picture fucking turns. Ugh. God, I'm triggered right now. Ugh. Dylan McElrath, 4.5, or 4 red. Morgan Riley, 2.5, fresh off of being the 5th overall pick. Joel Edmondson, 2nd round pick. You get nothing. Oh, God. Bryden. Your name's not Braden, it's Bryden. Don't even try to tell me your name's Braden. Fucking Absidy over here. 4-star Quentin Howden. Cam Braze has all the jaw. Justin, I know what you're going for, dog. But that's not fooling anybody. That's not fooling anybody. That's not fooling anybody, man. I get it. That is some shit genetics right there. But you know what'd be even more badass is for you to be the 20-year-old bald kid in the WHL that wrecks everybody. That's not working. That's not working. You have to let it go. And I hope later on in life you are 37 years old. You're not 20. You are 37 years old. Come on now. Torin. Why is your name Torin? Fucking Brandon Potomac. Why is your name Torin? Jesus Christ, parents. What's the matter with you? What is the matter with you? Joseph Morrow. 4-star, I wish. Rakowski, William Wren, Tyler Wotherspoon, Derek Pouliot. Penguins and Canucks fans wish. Cody Castro. Lane. Not enough lanes in this world. Sven Barchke. Not Berchke. Barchke. 4.5, by the way. Die Ratty. Brad Ross. Leafs fans wish. Boy, don't they wish. Brandon Leipzig. Taylor Lear. Taylor Lear, now a Buffalo legend. Chase DeLeo. Nick Patan. 2 stars. I guarantee that would be boosted by the end of the year. Guarantee it. Riley with 2 Ys because your parents hate you. Prince Albert. Cole. Oh, nice. Good elevation on the hair. I can respect that. Luke Lee Knight. Why not just name him Leely? Leely Knight. Name him Day. There's a lot of other LY puns you could make. Harrison Ruop. Josh Morrissey. Jesus Christ. Damn. Brandon Dream Shack Leipzig. Sawyer Lang. Lange. Mark McNeil. Kellen Tochkin. Logan McVeigh. I can't get over the picture flip. Right when I thought 41-year-old on the roster was the peak, fucking picture flip. TJ Constant. Solid. Prince George. Devin Fortis. Who do we got here? There's got to be one more, right? Got to be one more name that really brings it all together. Like Milk McCreast? I don't even know. Troy Bork. I want to make you just sit there and stare at Jordan Catch for a minute. Jordan Catch. Taylor with an E. Because you have to. Austin Dye. Wilson Dumais. Oh, Prince George. Red Deer. Patrick Bartosak. You would have a picture in Hut where you're wearing a sweatshirt because you got ousted from the NHL because you did a bad thing. Bolton Pouliot. Alex Petrovich. Matt Dumba. 4-star. Fafard. I am a child. I'm sorry. Fucking, I wish in an alternate universe, like, I was Jack Edwards and Devin Fafard made it. And you just get the yell, Fafard. He scores. Fafard. God, that would be a great reality, wouldn't it? That would be... That'd be the best reality. I am tired. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm good. We're gonna make it through this. It's gonna happen. We're already here. It's gonna happen. Regina. Adam Bukaboom. Brandon Davidson. Marty Marincin, 4-star. No. 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 4-star in terms of a stopping zone entry. That's about it. 4-star Jordan Wheel. Chandler Stevenson. Morgan Klimchuk. It's like they just threw darts at a spinning wheel to determine these potentials. It's great. Dryden Hunt. What we got on Saskatoon? Sunburn, or what happened there? Lucas Sutter. That didn't work out for you, did it? That did not work out for you, did it? Brett Stuyven. Kyle Haas. Even before this, you sounded like you were losing. I've been losing it as of this entire stream, man. Oh, God. Duncan Siemens. Simon Siemens. Dalton Thrower. 4-star. Andre Makarov. I remember when... Oh, he was a Sabres guy, wasn't he? Wasn't drafted. He ended up on the Sabres, though. Calvin Pickard. Kyle Verdino. He looks very unsure of what he's seeing. Braden Leroux. Shea Theodore, 2.5. That is just disrespectful. Brad Deagle. And Austin Frank. It's tough when your last name's already a first name, but there had to have been something better that they could have done. Justin Hickman. Spokane, Dominic Uller. Good old Blake Gall. Okay, this team's looking a little bit rough. It's looking... Jared... Oh, my God. Jared, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your parents don't like you. I'm sorry your parents don't like you. Brendan Kitchton. First name of Davis. I like it. Mac Engel, Eric Williams, Swift Current, Groen Hide. Big save, Groen Hide. Richard Nadomlu, who never made it. I think we've peaked. Hey, Dylan Hetherington. I think we've peaked with the Bobby Zinkin with the flipped picture. That just brings it all home. Adam Lowry, Brad Hoban, Ryan Moser, Coda Gordon, Cody, nah, Coda. Oh, God, Daniel Dale. See, it's tough when you have a first name as a last name because I mean at that point it's a losing battle. Colby Cave, who had the same look on his face when he learned he was going to the Oilers. Oh boy, Tri-City, Ty Rimmer and Eric Comrie. Mitch Topping. Dryden Dow, because we don't like to use... Again, they force you to pay by the fucking letter on the birth certificate, so cut out the E or the A. Peter... No, not Peter Holland. Patrick Holland. You look like you're 35. You're 20. I don't believe you. Brendan Shinneman. Mason Wilgosh. I don't believe you again. Connor Rankin. Malta Stromwall, like NHL 16 legend for us. Malta Stromwall. Brian Williams, Lucas Walter. Marcus Messier. Lucas Nichols. And that brings us to the final two. Adam Morrison and Jackson Whistle. David Musial, 3.5. No, I'm not pronouncing his name. Brett Kulak. I can't believe we peaked, though, at that point. Brendan Gallagher. You have a picture? He does. It's actually him this year. Jordan Martinook. Kane Franzen rocking a little bit of that reverse people's eyebrow. Taylor Mackin. Return of the Mackin. Dalton Sward. Yeah, we peaked with the flipped picture. The 41-year-old man in the flipped picture. I told you, at the very least in one way, that the WHL would not disappoint. It didn't. Jordan Franzu. I like it. I thought he had braids for a second. Oh, that would have been interesting. Turner Popoff. Joe Hicketts. Red Wings legend. The WHL rarely fails to disappoint, but as we've continued along, we continue to find new ways in which it actually lives up to expectation. And Taylor Crunk. Taylor Crunk is how we end it.